just declaring I win, you know what that is? That's what losers do. And that's why you should vote for me. Okay? Aaron, you go. Go. Right there.
Numbers cannot accurately counter an argument such as I win.
More, Aaron. Tell us. Tell us why your binary approach is preferable.
Because it has very low choices.
These points are lies.
Why might a binary choice be preferable?
Because it's simpler to understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simpler to win.
Okay, well, simpler to win with. Is that a good reason to tell the judge?
It's simpler to see.
The binary approach is better because it makes it easier for me to win. Right? That's not a good answer. What's the reason you want to give? Simpler, maybe, but I probably want to phrase it differently. Is simpler a good reason to prefer that for now?
Yes.
Maybe, maybe not. Depending, you need to explain more. Why might simpler be better?
Because the judge will be able to understand why he would pick.
Okay, provides more judge clarity, provides a more decisive judge decision. In other words, the judge doesn't have to measure things that may not be in the same units. If I saved 100 lives and you've taken 100 crack addicts and turned them into productive factory owners, and the lives I saved were all 94-year-old women, who's really done a more of a good thing for society? It's difficult to say because we're measuring quality of life versus sanctity of life, okay? The units might not be the same. In the truth testing one, the binary one, the units are irrelevant, alright? Try it again. Go.
Because since in this scale thingy, the numbers are irrelevant, and however my binary scale, which I provide, which is the I win declaration, is more decisive, and his numbers don't accurately represent anything.
Hey, I want to point out, judges, his numbers, they don't represent anything. He has 2 what? I have minus 100 what? Points? What are those? Right?
Yep.
Good. Okay, go sit down. Alright, so look. What I want to do now, I know we don't have a ton of time left. Actually, we have a whole hour and 15 minutes. I want to spend a lot of time cutting stuff for this topic, okay? But before I do that, I want to answer basic questions. What basic questions does everybody have that they do not understand? Yes?
So, the resolution in a nutshell is pretty much saying that world being more united makes poor people less poor.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look. Hey, understand this from a historical perspective as well. Remember back around 1400 or so, or 1300, when the Europeans started colonizing places, right? They said, hey, let's go sail around and see if other cultures are here. Prior to that, we had limited globalization. Maybe Marco Polo was an example of globalization, early globalization. Maybe Moses taking the Israelites out of Egypt and to wherever he took them. Maybe an early example of globalization. But the point is that globalization really occurred when European cultures started going to other places that previously had been isolated. That was the earliest form of globalization, which might be called colonization, or what's that word? That word that they used, the imperialism, right? Imperialism. Okay, so, hey, shh. So, if you think about cultures in isolation, would those Africans have been better off just continuing their tribal life in the jungle and being happy and being in a sustainable relationship with nature, which is to say the population of human beings, when it exceeded a certain amount, that which the environment could sustain, the additional human beings would die, right? So it's a pretty brutal kind of a life where, oh, well, this jungle doesn't have enough bananas for everybody this month, so little Bobby has to starve to death. Right? Would they have been better off in that state? Or maybe that's not how they died. Maybe there were just enough, like, lions ate them, or they just had natural falls or whatever. Well, the thing is, regardless, the point is, in a state of nature, human beings have a very short lifespan compared to the contemporary human being. In a state of nature, human beings might live 25 or 30 years. maybe 40 if you're old. In a civilized modern society like this, we live till we're 75 or 80. Why? Because it's obviously healthier to have like heat and clothes and, clean water and stuff, right? And dentists. A lot of people died from tooth infections back in the olden days. Yeah. So the point is, when we're talking about globalization, we're really talking about one culture imposing itself on another culture historically and in an ongoing sense. The real question on this globalization topic is compared to what, or how are we doing the calculus, right? Are we saying globalization is better than or worse than some prescribed alternative? Because it's going to be very difficult to come up with one. And I think what the AF is going to say is, no, we're just showing that overall the impacts of globalization are beneficial. And we don't have, compared to what? Well, compared to if there weren't any globalization. Okay. Or a better possible framework would be compared to the harms, right? I'm the app. I'm going to show you all the benefits of globalization. You show me all the harms. Whoever has a bigger pile wins. That's a good approach as well. But the thing is, when addressing this, it's difficult to conceive of the world without globalization because we have to remember that it began way back when the Europeans colonized those other cultures. And that as it's ongoing right now, if you were saying, no, the benefits don't outweigh the harms, then you're saying, are you saying if we were to remove the economic presences put into place by globalization in Africa, for example, if we say, okay, all Western businesses leave the Congo, would the Congo be better off?
No.
Or not? I honestly don't know, but I'm assuming they employ a certain amount of Congolese people. The thing is, you can't put like Africans back in the jungle and say, go be primitive again. You don't need the world economy anymore. Forget about that whole internet thing. It was a dream. It was caused by the alligator gods. You can't, and it's offensive to think that you can. And so when you're arguing against economic globalization, what are you arguing for?
Globalization is better.
I'm just saying this is the trouble the NAIC has. I think the best thing the NAIC can say is this, that in its current state, economic globalization functionally means one thing and one thing only. It means getting a bunch of people in a poor country to work 60-hour weeks for $1.50 a day until they die for the next few decades. Now, ultimately, perhaps globalization will benefit these countries and make them better off and do all the things that the globalizing people promise. But in the next couple of decades anyway, it's going to be pretty not so fun to be a laborer in a Chinese electronics factory, right? Do you want to work at the Apple factory building iPods?
Maybe.
I don't think it sounds very fun, but I don't think it sounds exactly torturous. You sit someplace like this, right? But you do this for like 12 hours a day. Get this piece and stick it right there, and turn it around, wipe, give it to the next person down the line. Then do that again. Wipe, hey, this is not too bad. 1 hour later, wow, this was pretty cool, I guess. 3 hours later, oh my God, I am still doing this. 12 hours later, oh, my bowl of rice, thank you. Bowl of rice and go to sleep for 8 hours. Get up, back to making that thing again. That's why they put that net outside, because people kill themselves all the time, right? Because it's not an existence anybody wants to have. Now, you could say, is that the consequence of economic globalization, or is it the consequence of China's authoritarian regime? I don't know. But when you don't have a merit-based society, you're not going to achieve free market benefits. All right, let's take a break. And then after break, we're going to just cut cards the next whole time, or I'll answer questions if you want to come up and talk to me one-on-one, okay? The rest of the time, we'll be using, you won't have to listen to me anymore.